Welcome back. My name is Jeff, and this is Word for Yours. This is the day I have not been looking forward to. As of February 10th, 2023, Word for Yours is 1 year old. To be honest, I didn't think I'd keep it up this long. I thought that I would get so far, I wouldn't get any subscribers, I would get bored, distracted, do something else. Never thought it would last an entire year. The whole reason I did this in the first place was just because I write books, and somebody told me that starting a YouTube channel would be a great way to get the word out and make some book sales. Because, I mean, the world of books is a huge place, and if you don't jump up and down, wave your arms, nobody's going to notice you. So I started a YouTube channel. Here I am, 1 year later. So I thought to celebrate, I would react to, I've never done a reaction video before. I thought that it would be a great idea to mark the occasion by reacting to the very first video I'd ever done on this channel. What I'm not looking forward to. Oh my God. Yeah. So I'm about to see how terrible I used to be. Well, to start off, what I'm wearing here, the shirt and the tie, my girlfriend picked out because she thought it would look cute in it, and she thought I would look professional and people would remember me. I stopped doing it, as well as the green screen background, because it just took so much time to set up. So here I am, my actual background, my actual shirt, and I just didn't have time to get dressed up like that with every episode. But I did Frankenstein because I wanted my first, because I knew how terrible it was going to be. I wanted my first video to be something that was already 200 years old. Everybody should have already read. The author is long past and won't care what I think about him. So, made sense at the time. So anyway, here is my very first video on Word for Yours. Check this out. This is J.S. Johnston. This is the very first episode of Word for Yours. That means in 1 year's time, I will look back at the video and marvel at what an idiot I am. And past me is right. I am now marveling about what an idiot I am a year from after I made this. Wow. A whole year. Because this will be so dumb. So I'm glad you tuned in. Do people say tuned in anymore? I don't think they do. Turns out they do. I'm very old. I am old. I'm talking about books today. I hate Frankenstein. Still hate it. You probably hate me now. I wanted to make my first video about Frankenstein. I have actually been thinking about it since I read it a month before Halloween. However, I hate it. It is... Still hate it. It is quite possibly the worst book I have ever read. I've read worse books since then. But not many. No, it is the worst classic book. The worst book someone has told me is the best book ever written. That part is still true. It is bad. Now, you're probably telling me I'm an idiot, and you're probably right. I am an idiot. Don't tell anyone. However, I'm basing this on the way books are written today. The book Frankenstein is, well, there is an adage in writing that says, show, don't tell. I don't know why I bothered explaining this. Most of you aren't writers, but that's okay. Instead of just telling you that John went to the store, I would say something like, John opened up the door and saw the beautiful day outside and his car sitting in the parking lot with the bird shit all over the hood. Or I could just say John went to the store. That is telling. And that's boring. And that's all that's all this book was. Just tell. Like an account of Sorry. Back to the video. I don't want to redo this. I've already done this once. Nobody wants to read that. I don't want to read that, and probably neither do you. However, that is the way Frankenstein is written cover to cover. Cover to cover. And I hated it. If I was not told, if somebody didn't tell me this was a classic, I would have DNF'd it in the first chapter. If it had been written in this century, in this decade, I would have DNF'd it, because I would have... I don't want to review this stupid thing. I will continue with the video. Because it is boring. It starts when it starts before Frankenstein was even born. It starts with the lineage of his parents, and then it moves on to him being a child and how he grew up. And it wasn't even a hard childhood. I mean, he grew up... His parents were loaded. He had the perfect childhood. Loaded. It wasn't even interesting. And then his mother found some cousin child girl person and decided that she wanted to adopt her. And it read like some kind of fantasy trope of wishful thinking that somebody might want to do. Dracula's the same way. So weird. And presented her to little boy Frankenstein and said, "This is your cousin's aunt's kid." And honestly, I think in the book she was like a cousin or something. I talked a lot back then. I went through my my analytics on YouTube to watch to see how long people were actually watching my videos. They weren't watching nearly as long as I was making videos. So since then, I managed to cut back on them a lot. That's why my videos are so short these days. These days, like at most, are 5 minutes long, maybe 7, because people only actually watch the first 3 minutes of it generally. But back then, I mean, I was just, I don't know these things, so that's why I keep talking forever. But I'm going to draw this a little closer. I think in the book she was like a cousin or something, but she was raised as a sister to little boy Frankenstein, and little boy Frankenstein fell in love with her as if she were, I don't know, it was weird. It was weird. And spoiler alert for a book that's 200 years old, if you've never seen any of the movies, he literally falls in love with this girl raised as his sister, and then later on grows to marry her. It was pretty weird. Like, as an adult, he marries her. He makes her his wife. At least that's the plot of the book. Now, this is where it gets weird. In every movie of Frankenstein, they say... Well, every Frankenstein movie, half the movie is him robbing graveyards and collecting body parts. And I talk a lot. I mean, all this stuff is true, but wow, I talk a lot. I mean, I'm already getting bored of my own video. I promised I would do the reaction, so we will continue. And working on his science stuff. And there's this big dramatic scene where he throws the switch, and there's these electrical things, and half the movie is making the monster. The other half of the movie is getting rid of the monster. Now, the book, there is a paragraph where it happens. The actual making of the monster. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It was on a dreary night of November that I beheld the accomplishment of my toils. With an anxiety that almost amounted to agony, I collected the instruments of life around me, and that I might infuse a spark of being into the lifeless thing that lay at my feet. It was already 1 in the morning. The rain pattered dismally against the panes, and my candle was nearly burned out, when, by a glimmer of half-extinguished light, I saw the dull yellow eye of the creature open. It breathed hard, and in convulsive motion agitated its limbs. It took me so long to get that right because I'm dyslexic and I don't read as smoothly as your average bear. So I practiced that over and over and over and over again. This one video took me all day to do because I wanted to put that in there, because I wanted to give people an example of this is why I think this of this thing. And it took me so long just to read this. I don't do that anymore. At best, I'll have MS Word read it to me. That's it. That's all you get. That's it. I mean, understand, 200 years ago, Mary Shelley was not a scientist, and she could not Google any of this. So, forgiving her for that. She did get a lot of things right. The themes of the book. Now, keep in mind, I'm judging this on the basis of reading books in the 21st century. So, I'm reading this with 21st century eyes, reading 21st century books. Most of them. Some of the 20th book. You know what I mean. So, where was I going with this? The themes of the book. Now, I have no idea what people 200 years ago saw in this. But I can tell you that eventually I get to the point that what I saw in it was bad writing with a good idea. Now, people will tell you that Frankenstein's, he thought he was better than everyone else. My God, this video is long. What was I thinking? He thought he knew what he was doing. People told him not to do things, and he said, nay, nay, and the naysayer, whatever people say when they say nay. And he, what's the word I'm looking for? Grandiose, or I don't know. I'll edit this out anyways. I didn't actually edit anything out. In the book, the only reference to that they make is him reading books by people whose names I didn't bother to look up. Still haven't. And other people telling him not to waste his time on such drivel, such meaningless nonsense and waste of time, when he should be reading other books by people with other names that I also didn't look up. And that's as far as it got. Yeah, so that was it. It was the concepts were there, but the execution was not. Or if it was barely there. When I got... This video is really long. I got the idea that it was a precautionary tale of the boldness of science. Doing things... That's cautionary tale, not precautionary tale. I don't work with scripts. I was just talking. Because of... You can do them, not because you should. Just like Malcolm, what's his name, in Jurassic Park. It was a cautionary tale. Well, it was a cautionary tale saying what can happen if you don't practice a little, pay attention to what you're doing. And it was also... I really should have edited out these pauses. I do that now. I didn't back then. It was also the story of a guy who made a mistake and refused to admit it. No, by that I mean he made his monster because he could. That part was at least made clear. It didn't go into all the fanfare that a lot of people make it out to be, but he made the monster because he could. That was his motivation. He could do this, so he made the monster. Then he realized, because he made him ugly, he realized what a mistake that was, so he tried to kill the monster because... That was a weird part of the book. Yeah, that was a weird part. That was a weird part of the book. 200 years ago, that's what you did to things you don't like. You kill them. So... So much for that. Now, when the scene where he made the monster, he, for whatever reason, ran upstairs and went to bed. Because that's what you did 200 years ago. Now, he went to bed when there was a dead guy walking around his basement in his laboratory. A dead guy walking around his basement in his laboratory. A dead guy. And then he was surprised when that dead guy came up to his bedroom and wanted to say hello. It was a really weird book. So Frankenstein ran away. Again. He ran outside, and to the gazebo, and he slept out there when there was a dead guy running around in his house. A dead guy. That is not the place I would go.
No, it is not. I'm
not sure where that would be, but I wouldn't go to sleep. I don't think I would get much sleep that night. But that's where Frankenstein went. It was weird. So
it was pretty weird.
Not to give too much away of a 200-year-old book, which honestly, if you're watching this video, you've already read it anyway, so who cares? The rest of the book is...
You may not have read this book.
Frankenstein trying to get rid of his mistake.
As you do.
Understandable. I often have the same motivations myself. Now, the book reads, it's not completely terrible. Every now and then, there'll be a sentence that is pure gold. It's like...
Well, here it comes again.
A field of cow poop with little gold nuggets scattered around. I am alone and miserable. Man will not associate with me. But one as deformed and horrible as myself would not deny herself to me. My companion must be of the same species and have the same defects. This being you must create. He had come forth from the hands of God, a
Why
perfect
did I do so many
creature,
of these? Oh my God.
happy and prosperous, guarded by the especial care of the Creator.
Oh
He
my
was
God, why does
allowed to
anybody watch my
converse
videos?
with and acquire knowledge from beings of a superior nature. But I was wretched, helpless, and alone. Some of these sentences are just, I posted them to Twitter just because I wanted to share them. That's like my new thing now. You can follow me on Twitter.
Well, no, it's X, but whatever. I'm not calling it X. It's still Twitter.
I wish I wrote. But they're in this mass of, you got to tread through a lot of crap to get to them. But they're there. And they're so good. So, in essence, my review of Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, 200 years ago. You should have read it already.
Dramatic pause.
I will give it a solid 4 lightning bolts out of 10 zappy things. I don't know what system I'm using that. This is my first video. Leave me alone. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that crap. I have another website. I'll leave links down the doobly-doobly thing down below. Thank you for sticking around to the end of this video. I really hope this is not my last one, but thanks for showing up all the same. Hello, YouTube.
So it turns out most people did not stick around to the end, so it didn't matter what I said. But that's okay. Like I tell everybody, the first time doesn't count. The first time is just practice. So this was my practice. It was a 200-year-old book that everybody already... Well, a 200-year-old book that didn't matter how bad I screwed it up. I mean, as first attempts go, I guess this really wasn't that bad, but I've been dreading this for so long. But I promised you guys, I didn't really promise, but I asked you if you guys wanted to see it. You said you did, so here I am. Yeah, I guess it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. Hopefully I can stick around for another year. It's been a lot of fun. I didn't make a zillion subscribers. Surprise, surprise. I think, as of today, I have 200, maybe? Yeah, as of today, I have 200. And it's currently February 6th. By the time you see this, the channel will be a year old. It's really been more of a hobby than anything else. I've met a lot of great guys, fellow booktubers who are out there, fellow book enthusiasts to talk with. A lot of them follow my videos and they comment every time I put something out just to say hi. I do the same thing for them. It's been so much fun. I'm really happy I did it. I mean, I'm not a zillionaire. Yeah, that dream probably will never come true, but I'm having a lot of fun. It's been so cool. Hopefully I'll be around for another year. Yeah. Thanks a lot for watching. May your library be fully funded and well-stocked, and I'll see you later.